Welcome back, folks. Sheepdog Smokey here, and Cuckoo Kamala is at it again, vowing to criminalize private gun sales via executive action. You heard that right. The mouthpiece, or one of the mouthpieces of the party of President Trump, has to respect Congress. Stop issuing executive orders. You have to respect us. Vows to do the exact same thing she demands no one else do. The crux of the matter is Democrats hate that American citizens are legally allowed to be armed so that by the intent of the Second Amendment, a tyrant cannot seize power over the country. They use lies and innuendo and sometimes blatant attacks on people to advance their agenda. When we look at anywhere that Democrat gun control has been implemented, say Baltimore, Chicago, California, we see that crime has gone up. When we look at red states like Texas, Georgia, Oklahoma, we're going to see crime is much lower because, as the old saying goes, an armed society is a polite society. Yes, I know, Democrats will liken the goal of pro Second Amendment people to bringing back the Wild West. In many ways, that would be a bad thing. I honestly don't want to have to go back to working the field and riding a horse everywhere and giving up a lot of the freedoms and rights that we have today. Personally, I do, however, like what I know of the supposed Wild West. Yes, there are the fantasizations. Fantasizations? Not sure if that's a word. There are the fantasies, the fictionalizations, such as Dodge City, where the Earps were in control, or Lonesome Dove, or any other. We look at Tombstone, we look at Lone Ranger, we look at even the Rifleman. And every week somebody had to get shot in a standoff. There was always a shootout at the OK Corral. But you see, when you actually look at the Old West, you're going to find that didn't happen nearly as often as they portray. Because, you see, people have this innate thing inside them. It's called a survival instinct. We don't want to die. Even the bad guys don't want to die. And generally, the sheriffs were pretty good at what they did. And people don't like going to jail. And everyone walking around, or not everybody, but a lot of people walking around with heat on their hip meant that anybody coming in to rob the bank or to start a fight over a poker game is going to be facing the barrels of a lot of guns. So it didn't happen that much. And one need only look where there is strict versus lax gun control to see that that is still true. Yes, crime still happens. It always will. Look at London, where firearms ownership is all but nil. So now they're banning knives, calling for GPS tracking on knives, and police even seizing pliers and hammers because criminals will use whatever they can get their hands on. Now, I've said this before, I will say it again. I personally would not sell any of my firearms to anyone but an FFL dealer, save perhaps a very few friends and relatives. And I can count them on two hands and 2 feet. Examples: my father or mother, my nephew, when he's old enough. He's not, but when he's old enough, I might consider it. I can tell you 3 friends of mine from high school, ironically, all of them military veterans. I believe one is still actually in reserve. And very few other people I know. And I will also admit that on that circle of friends and family, there's a couple of FFL dealers that I would sell that are part of that circle. But I don't like selling my guns. As I've told you, in the past 15 years, I've sold exactly one gun. And that is because it was a horrible purchase for me. Springfield XDS 45, a lot of composite, very small, very light, with a 45 ACP. Thing jumped like a mule. I hated it. Sold it to the same dealer I bought it for, bought a 9mm and loved it. But that's what Harris is trying to use as cover for gun control. You see, anyone who sells 5 or more firearms in a year, if you're buying and selling that many guns in a year, you're either a criminal or already licensed as a dealer. So, yeah, that, or you're someone who's liquidating your guns collection. Honestly, uh, if you haven't, check out Black Rifle Coffee, specifically Man Spot, and Demolition Ranch. Both of them have a very nice, very large gun safe. They have a pretty extensive collection. They secure them properly, and so on and so forth. And I can tell you, if I had a collection, well, crying out loud, if I was wanting to sell every gun I own, and I couldn't sell it to my dad, or maybe one as a personal sale to a dealer that I know, I would put them in that shop on consignment. And guess what's going to happen then? Somebody comes in, oh, I'd like to buy that. All right, come over here, let's run a background check. Because, see, that dealer treats consignment sales the same as he treats sales of his own stock, which means you're going to run through NICS. I have actually sold in a private sale, person to person. And I'm going to surprise Senator Harris, who's not doing her job at the moment because she's running her mouth trying to get into the White House. When I agreed to the sale, and I actually agreed to it 3 times, first 2 ran because I said, oh, good, meet me at X location. It's a gun shop here in town, and they're going to run a background check since I don't know you. And then if it all goes well and it's right, they will have you sign just like you're buying from them. I'm going to pay their fee, so you're not going to pay me any more than we agreed on. The first 2, click, got nothing back. That third guy, honest guy, met me at the gun shop. They ran his background. He had a CHL at the time, now licensed to carry in the state of Texas. So he had his license. So it came back clean as a whistle. He handed me the money. They had his signature on all the right paperwork. I hand him the firearm in its case, hand the dealer their X%, I forget how much it was. Everybody happy. So when I sold to a private individual in the last 10 years, there was a background check run. And just so you can do the math, Senator, that is 1 gun every 5 years, not 5 in 1 year like you're trying to pass off as something that happens every day. But see, what Senator Harris knows is that if she can get this by and this left alone and let stand, she can then say, well, it's having no effect. So now if you sell 1 gun in a year, if you sell any gun, there has to be a background check run. And that, of course, will have no effect because the people obeying the law would have obeyed the law anyway. And the people breaking the law would have broken the law anyway. So when that doesn't work, well, this is just not working. We're going to have to ban these kind of guns. That won't work. Now we got to ban these. Now we got to ban these. And given 4 years in the White House, we will be Venezuela, completely disarmed and at the mercy of our tyrants in D.C. I honestly don't think that will ever happen. I've made the prediction before that should a Democrat get in and start issuing executive orders that this type of gun is banned, or yet to do this kind of extra background check, you got to tell me who you are, where you live, everything you own. You're going to start seeing states drop like flies. And you're going to see the military members who live in those states go with them. And the ones who don't, not doing a thing, because all of them are going to realize she's just declared the Constitution null and void. Because she's declared your Second Amendment, Fourth Amendment, and Fifth Amendment rights void. Can't own guns that she don't want you to. You have no security in your home against search and seizure, and you have no protection against self-incrimination. If the military sees her void 2, 3, or 2, 4, and 5, the military is going to say, I'm sorry, did you just say the Constitution's void? Well, my oath is void. I'm going home. And we will see the country dissolve. And it's sad to think about how close we are to that. I know I don't often in these videos say vote for so-and-so, but if Harris, Swalwell, Booker, Buttigieg, any of them get into office, you're going to start seeing your rights vanish. Christianity will be deemed hate speech. Guns will be deemed banned. You will see your taxes rise. You will see your freedoms fall. The Democratic Party is no longer hiding their tyrant undertones. and they are hell-bent on making those law. But I've talked about this long enough. Remember, please, to like, share, and comment on this video, but keep your comments civil. We don't learn from argument. We learn from debate. Also, please remember to subscribe and activate notifications so that you are among the first to know of any and all new content as it is posted. Until next time, everyone, have a wonderful day.